This game is the bane of my existence. I'll never escape it. There's so much that sucks about this game. Every level, every character, every plot element that if I keep going at this rate, I'll never finish it.
Indeed! Which is why I've just created my greatest invention to help you. It's called a time compressor. It compacts time as the world perceives it into an incredibly condensed period.
Wow, a time compressor. It kind of looks like an Xbox remote.
It's a time compressor!
Okay, so last time our heroes had split up to save their home bases from being destroyed because the evil sorceress had just taken over Galbadia and ordered nuclear missile strikes. Selphie's group managed to save their garden by reprogramming the missiles to detonate harmlessly in civilian areas, but Squall's group arrives to find his garden already embroiled in some kind of civil war. Now the students are divided into two factions, one supporting Headmaster Sid and the other supporting some guy, Garden Master Norg. Who's Norg? Well, apparently he's the guy who funded the whole Garden and Seed Special Forces thing. And when Irvin screwed the pooch assassinating the sorceress, well, Norg just lost his fudge and decided to burn everyone involved, including Sid. So you run around the garden for a while looking for Sid, fighting Norg's people who are also looking for Sid. And in all this time, nobody thinks to look in his fucking office! But anyway, I told you who Norg is, but I didn't really tell you who Norg is. My description seems oddly inadequate when you realize that Norg happens to be this 3,000-pound walking goiter in a muumuu who sits around in the basement in the Night Owl's flying ship Archie. Is there really any point in trying to explain who the fuck this guy is, or what he is? He looks like a lump of sentient cholesterol. His chin is 3 times bigger than his head. Jabba the Hutt would tell this guy to lay off the Cheetos. He's so fat even his name is overweight and can only be spelled in capital letters. And Norg sounds like something Pinky the Rat would say. Norg! He can't even move, I bet. Can you imagine what the inside of that ship smells like? Probably like sauerkraut and ass. Norg the Fat demands more pies! Sid says he feels betrayed and wishes he could go back in time so that he never accepted Norg's money in the first place.
Oh, come on, who wouldn't trust a screaming 2-ton pile of butter with 6-foot-long finger claws and neck flaps you could lose a battleship in? I mean, you could have suckered anybody. Oh, but I forgot to mention how they evade the nuclear missiles. The garden can fly. Yeah, didn't call that one, did you? Like, how? Why? Oh, I see. It's because it has a giant spinny thing. That's how it can fly. Now it all makes total sense. It doesn't make sense. I hate this fucking game. I hate this fucking game! Ah!
It turns out the flashbacks to Laguna are being caused by some woman named Elone, or Ellen, who has the power to telepathically send people into the past, into the minds of people she knew. Of course, how or why she has this power is never explained or even asked about, and that's an awfully big plot hole, even considering everything else that doesn't make sense, because this power is the axis around which this entire story turns. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Even when you find Elone and ask her why the hell we need to suffer through all of these Laguna flashbacks, she never really comes up with a satisfactory answer. At some point later on, she says she wanted to try to change the past so that Laguna and her mother would end up happy together. A mission that would have had a much better chance at succeeding, by the way, if she just approached Squall and the others from the beginning and explained what in the hell they were supposed to do, instead of confusing and scaring the shit out of them with all this time travel bullshit against their will, knowledge, or consent!
Worse, she says she knows that changing the past is basically impossible because of time paradoxes and science and whatever, but she tried anyway because why not? So this entire exercise, this whole time, was completely pointless, and even the game admits it. This whole Laguna thing, from the beginning, was just jerking us around.
You spend most of the game looking for Elone. You shouldn't have to look for her, but some assholes pull their boat alongside the garden and demand that you hand her over, so our brave heroes just do it immediately without a fight or even comment. It's total bullshit, and sure enough, it turns out to be a really bad move because, as I said, she turns out to be the one person critical to the sorceress's evil plan, and she's been searching for her this whole game. Let's not even bother asking why the fuck she's wandering around a secure military installation all this time, or how she's gone undetected up till now. But before we can go look for her, we need to do an Irish jig. What? Okay, so they all decide to attack Galbadia's garden and wipe out the sorceress like they should have done before. The one flaw in this plan is that Galbadia's garden and soldiers don't suck. Hey, why don't we have jet-powered motorcycles and flying mechs and stuff? But anyway, you reach the command center and beat Cypher up again. Well, actually, I kind of spent about 20 minutes just toying with him and drawing aura spells, because aura is the most awesome spell in the game. Why? Well, because it lets you do limit breaks anytime, and once you get Squall's best weapon, his limit break kills pretty much everything instantly. So you beat up the sorceress, but that's not the end. Believe me, it's not even the end of Disc 2. It turns out Sorceress Adia wasn't really a bad guy. She was just possessed by another sorceress from the future named Ultimecia. Why? So Ultimecia could find Elone. Why? So Ultimecia could use Elone to go further into the past, into the mind of another sorceress. Now, this will have the unfortunate side effect of collapsing the space-time continuum, compressing time to a singular point, and exterminating all life in the galaxy.
Well, why in the hell does she want to do that? Okay, she doesn't want to rule the world, she doesn't want to change the future, no, she just wants to fuck up everything and end all existence, but is there a reason she wants to do any of this? I'm sorry, but for a game that people put forward as one of the best and most classic examples of epic RPG plots, this is some seriously lazy storytelling. I guess I just need a little more to a villain's motivation than, oh, she's evil. You can't just tell me she's evil and use that as some blanket excuse. I mean, let's face it, this is a long way for her to go. There are easier ways to destroy the world. She's the most powerful sorceress in existence. And I guess I just don't see the purpose of destroying time. What are you doing? You're killing everyone who's already dead?
And here I thought Final Fantasy I had the most rock-stupid time travel storyline I'd ever heard. At least in that game, Garland had a motivation. He wanted to live forever. Okay, it was lame, and it didn't make much sense when you got right down to it, but come on, at least it was out there. This, I just don't get it. I mean, why does Ultimecia bother doing all this stuff? We're given absolutely no motivation for her. I would have taken raging PMS as an excuse, but we just get nothing. Well, maybe another Laguna flashback will help clear it up. Oh, this is a classic scene! He's a movie star in a fantasy movie now, but uh-oh, that's not a fake dragon he's fighting, that's a real dragon! I think the joke's on poor Laguna!
Remember when that happened to Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey when they were shooting Rain of Fire? Now, man, that was classic. I hate this fucking game. I really do.
Okay, fair warning. From here, things get stupid. Just think about that for a second. Okay, the heroes all begin to realize they share a common history when they find an abandoned orphanage, and suddenly realize they all remember living there, but they don't really remember specifics. Yeah, that's right, they all grew up together, but conveniently, they all have near total amnesia about the whole thing. Well, except Irvin, who remembers everything, but despite this, decides never to bring any of it up until directly questioned about it. He also fails to mention that the lady who raised all of them was the sorceress!
Oh, really? He never thought that little factoid was worth comment. The fact that he might feel a little conflicted shooting the woman who raised them in the face!
So, why do none of them remember their childhoods? Some of them speculate it's because the GFs they've been summoning progressively erase their memories, but Quistis resists that idea, saying, no, that's just a rumor that GF critics are spreading.
GF critics? Really, there are GF critics. Are we talking like talk show radio hosts or opinion pieces on 60 Minutes? This fascinates me, but what interests me more is how these supposed GF critics are more interested in the potential psychological effects of summoning GFs rather than the implication of giving teenagers the power to summon the devil whenever they want.
Even though I beat Sorceress Adia in one hit, somehow Renoa took a shot and ends up in a coma. Squall, being the rock-stupid emo punk-tard that he is, decides the only way to save her is to find Elone, go back in time and save her, even though we've already established that changing the past is impossible! So, you go find the assholes who took her in the first place, only to be told that other assholes on another boat took her from them. These new assholes come from a place called F-Star. So you go there, climb inside the door from the Truman Show, and discover that they live in a technologically advanced utopia.
Yeah, you know, more advanced than the one with the flying cities and hoverboards.
And no, of course, she's not here either. The princess is in another castle, because this fucking clown fucking shot her into fucking outer space! And when I say clown, I mean it. Just look at this guy. This guy is Doc Odin, the country's minister of mad science, or whatever. Just look at him. Should I even bother? Seriously, what is that thing? It looks like he's wearing the Wheel of Fortune. It's not a collar, it's a fucking umbrella. Where would you even